Um, oh, they're
There
coming
we
in.
go. Joyce Swinson. Wow, good to see you. Faye Lewis, thanks for your kind text on Sunday. Faye Lewis is one of my text message Sunday morning members. So I send out these text messages when I'm preaching in various places, and Faye Lewis is the #1 text recipient, and she responds by text message. I never thought I'd have a text church.
I was at your church on Friday at a service, and I said, "This church looks so familiar to me."
Yeah, my former church, man. My former church.
Yes, your former church.
I've been retired for 3 years. Thank the Lord.
All right. All right.
Are you driving, Joyce?
No, I'm sitting still at the moment.
All right. I was going to say.
I'm sitting still.
All right.
I wanted to turn this on, so I wanted to sit still. We're getting ready to start our D-Free class on Thursday.
Oh, really? That's wonderful. Well, listen, I'm glad you joined us because I really need your help. And I know if you help, we got some serious help. So thank you.
All right. All right. The Delta's in Prince George's County.
I know it. I know it. The richest Black county in America. Y'all got more.
Of course. Of course.
And you also have more debt than any other county.
Yes. And we are going to be working on that starting Thursday. Yes.
Yeah. I was talking to your national chair for economic development today. And
yes.
He's going to be my special guest at this event we're going to talk about tonight. So
wonderful.
I'll tell her. I'm going to talk to her again tomorrow. So I'll tell her that PG County is getting ready to roll and rise.
Yes. Yes. Let her know. Yes. 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 Yes.
Are you the chair? Are you the economic development chair for the chapter?
I am. I am. I am. I am.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. All right. Who else do we have here, Reverend?
I'm looking now. Let's see. Let's see.
Angelique Lennon.
Oh,
event coordinator. She ought to be on camera. You got me out here by myself.
She have our special guest. She's our last. She brings it home for us. So she's our last. We're excited to have her. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We see some other members of the team.
That's great. Good to see you, Keith Robinson. You know, we're dominated by women in these meetings, so it's always good to see a man or two. Yeah.
We love the women, but we enjoy having Josh and Reggie, and it looks like we have and Keith. So we're evening out tonight.
I just saw a big sign that said Zeta Phi Beta. What is that? An office, a headquarters, a virtual background? What is that?
I'm not sure. I didn't see it.
Did you see it? I saw it.
Dr. Whitaker is coming in right now.
Oh, great.
It's a background, virtual background.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. It's so great for all of you to take this time on Monday night to spend with us. It's an honor. You know, people are busy. It's only busy people that join us because people who aren't busy aren't looking to get busy. So thank you. All right, I've done enough chatting, I guess. I turn your program over to you, right?
Now we're competing with football. So yes, we definitely appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Thank you, Dr. Soares. Thank everyone for coming out to Monday Night Live. We are super excited about seeing you in this virtual space. We come together to talk about all things money, all things D-Free. And we always have some hot off the presses information for this particular crowd because you are our D-Free family. And so we're grateful tonight to have with us Dr. DeForest B. Soares Jr., but I'll go into that shortly. In the meantime, let's just go over our housekeeping for those who are new, because I saw quite a few new faces on here. We just keep yourselves muted in order to minimize the distractions and to reduce the amount of microphone feedback. If you remain muted or if you'd like to join the conversation, you can unmute yourself if you want to join the conversation. I'll tell you how to do that in a moment. But these sessions are being recorded. When you came in, you heard that little announcement. They're being recorded and are available for rewatch through our site. Because what's going to happen is after we talk today, you're going to want to share it with somebody. So you can find our information and you can find this episode on dfreefoundation.org or on our YouTube channel. Log in there and you can get more information. And you can show this to your friends and family and hopefully the organization or group you're a part of or the church. Our chat feature is open. It's always open through the session. The reason why is because we want you to go there and look for links frequently, because if I mention a link, our team who is working very diligently in the background in Ghana, they're going to be dropping links throughout the night. So thank you to Angie and thank you to Josh. In addition to that, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. We check the chat frequently, not just for you checking for links, but we check to find out what you have to say. We also encourage you to network with one another in there. That's our Amen Corner. So if there's something that's driving up your lane and you want to go ahead and give us a praise on that one, you can go ahead and put that in there as well. Last but not least, if you do want to join the conversation or you'd like to share your thoughts, we just ask that you use the raised hand feature. That raised hand feature is located right at the bottom of your screen. You'll see that it's a nice little hand. Once you raise that hand, it kind of brings you to the front of the queue, and then I'll be able to see you and add you to our conversation. So please, please, please use your raised hand feature. As you know, tonight, hot off the presses, we are going to talk about our exciting upcoming event, FinFest 2024. We are super excited about it. I can't wait for Dr. Soaries to kind of dive in a little bit deeper to it. But we're going to give you a sneak peek. You're getting information that most folks don't have. That's because you're our #1 audience. We love Monday Night Live. And so we wanted to give you a little heads up about some of the things that are coming so that you can tell somebody about it. Well, I think you all know my guest tonight because he usually starts off with all those wonderful greetings. But we have with us the CEO and chair of D-Free Global Foundation Incorporated, Dr. DeForest B. Soaries Jr. Hello, Dr. Soaries.
Reverend Sutton, hello, hello, hello. And while you were talking, it occurred to me that I probably made a mistake. We have some things to talk about before we get to your subject. And so it might make us spend more time together than I thought. Let me start right here. For you and for everyone, we started the D-Free movement in 2005. And in 2010, CNN came along, did a documentary on our work at First Baptist. And just before it aired, Soledad O'Brien, who was the host, said to me, "You better get ready because I'm putting you on full blast." And I took it seriously. So I took off the month of August of that year and wrote the D-Free book. The first D-Free book was called Breaking Free from Financial Slavery. We updated the book and called it Say Yes to No Debt. But the airing of that documentary caused us to get flooded by calls and by letters saying, "Look, we want you to come here." And so the book came out, the workbook came out, and then we formed a foundation. So I began selling books, and I took the sales from the money from the sales of the book and put it into the foundation, the D-Free Global Foundation, because we wanted to help churches, but we didn't want to charge them any money. So we put the money in the foundation. I raised extra money, and I was able to send staff around the country to do training. But you know, when you're small and when you're new, whoever the founder is has to do all the work. And so I was doing a lot of the work. We hired a few staff, but fast forward now to 2025. 2025, I've decided that I'm giving up the day-to-day leadership of the foundation. And what I want to announce to everyone that will hear us tonight, because we haven't said this publicly, that among the changes that I've made is by appointing you, Reverend Shonda Sutton, to be the Deputy Director of the D-Free Global Foundation, which means that you will be the primary representative of the foundation, working with partner organizations like your own Zeta Phi Beta, working with local organizations, working with citywide campaigns like you've been doing all year in Newark. And so folks, join me in congratulating Reverend Shonda Sutton, because she is now the #2 person in charge of the D-Free Global Foundation.
Thank you, Dr. Soaries. I am
Congratulations.
honored. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
So I wanted to say that so that you know that I'm not just talking to some miscellaneous reverend. I'm talking to the number 2 person in charge.
Congratulations, Reverend Sutton.
Thank you so much, Brother Robinson.
Yes, he's worked hard. And by the way, let us pause for a moment to recognize the passing and transition of James Earl Jones, one of our heroes, one of our pioneers in communications, and one of our role models in leadership. So let's just pause for a moment to thank God for James Earl Jones. Amen. And then finally, you know, I've been so concerned in what the Bible will call heavy laden by all of this violence. These children killed last week in the school. We got a sniper on the loose in Kentucky, and you know we work with people in Georgia, all over Georgia, and the shooting was in Georgia. We work with churches in Kentucky. I'll be in Kentucky at the end of this month preaching at the St. Stephen Baptist Church. And it just baffles me that the more powerful we get as a country and the wealthier we get, the more violent we seem to be. And it baffles me because, you know, now children 2 and 3 years old are watching these iPads, and many of these iPads have video games, and the most popular video games are violence, folk killing people and blood splatter. And then we wonder why a 14-year-old would pick up a gun and shoot people. So we've got to take seriously our responsibility to lead and not just criticize and complain. And all of you who join us on Monday night and at our events are leaders. You are all leaders. You may not all be preachers or pastors or CEOs, but all of you are leaders. And I'm hoping tonight will inspire you to do a little something that will help us galvanize this D3 movement. So those are my introductory remarks, Reverend Sutton. Now, what do you want to talk about?
Lord have mercy. What an introduction. Thank you, Dr. Soaries, so much. We are excited to have you here because not only do we get nuggets and pearls of wisdom like what you just shared, but we also get to get inside scoop. And so we have you tonight to give us some inside scoop on an upcoming event. I'm going to ask you about the event first because there are some new folks that are on the line that have never witnessed this phenomenon called FinFest. So if you could just share with us what the whole impetus behind FinFest, what the name means, what is FinFest 2024 or FinFest period?
Yeah, well, thanks a lot. You know, part of our work has been inspired, a large part has been inspired by the civil rights movement that really gave birth to my mind and my whole way of doing things. And the civil rights movement, the reason we were able to make such significant strides was because it wasn't just lawsuits, it wasn't just fundraising, it was engagement with people. And I think we've lost a lot of that the more sophisticated we've gotten, and you know, the more we travel, go on vacation, stay in fancy hotels. So when we started the D3 Foundation, what we wanted was an annual live event. And that event primarily was a conference. We called it the D3 Annual D3 Conference. And at that time, we invited all of the churches and organizations that worked in the D3 field, like our sister from Prince George's County, who tonight announced that they're launching D3. We wanted to come together physically to share best practices, to encourage each other, to recognize significant achievements, and to announce what's coming in the next season of D3. So we started having these D3 conferences. And then, and the conferences included speakers, and it included workshops, and we also had a little entertainment. You know, Marvin Sapp came one year, CeCe Winans came one year, you know, no ratchet entertainment, gospel music and that kind of thing. So then, because so many of our people needed help right now, you know, the D3 curriculum involves 12 steps, and everybody starts at step 1 and ends at step 12. But around the country, we knew people were experiencing debt problems that required immediate help. So through our partner Prudential, we were introduced to a national nonprofit organization that I believe does the best job anywhere at helping people understand what their options are for getting out of debt or getting bill collectors off their backs. You know, we don't want people doing like I used to, just tell off bill collectors and hang up. You know, we want people to learn how to do it right. So then we sponsored this all-day debt-a-thon, you know, inspired by the old telethon where people would call in all day and they would pledge money. We had a live debt-a-thon where people could call in all day and get help with their debt. So now we had a deep free conference one day, and then we had a debt-a-thon at another time. And then we had a live event that was more of a celebration. So we decided to have all of our live events packaged into one event and call it FinFest. So FinFest is speaking, FinFest is the Deep Free Conference, FinFest is training for people that want deep free in their communities or churches. FinFest is a little entertainment, but not a whole lot this year, because this year we're adding healthcare, because it doesn't matter how much money you have. If you're not healthy, you can't spend it. So we've got a healthcare partner. And so that's what FinFest is. It's a financial festival. And of course, it's all free. So what we do is we get people who have money to give us money so we can give to people for free the information and content that we know they need. So that's what FinFest is.
I'm glad you kind of touched on the theme, because every year you have these amazing themes. You know, we had homecoming one year, another one was a leadership conference, but this year's theme is really, I guess it's particularly special in the fact that it's health and wealth. Wealth and health, health and wealth. How do you position it? Can you just tell us?
You know, I don't know. I don't really know, because I haven't said it enough times to figure it out yet. But here's what I know. I know that there's an inextricable link between our health and our wealth. The number one reason that people file bankruptcy in America is because of bills that either the doctor or the hospital has sent them that they can't pay. So bad health undermines any potential for wealth. Pastor Whitaker, I'm so glad to see you. Listen, you all need to know about Pastor Whitaker in Wilmington, Delaware, and the movement that he leads. I was so thrilled that you had us over there a couple of weeks ago. So it's health and wealth. And if you're not healthy, you cannot be wealthy. You could have a couple $1 million wiped out in a short period of time if your health is not good enough. Likewise, if you're healthy and broke, you're not going to be healthy long, because being broke is bad for your health. You know, being in debt is stressful. Stress is what is called the silent killer. And so it's health and wealth. And we're happy to have one of the nation's top healthcare institutions as our partner, RWJ Barnabas Healthcare. The RWJ stands for Robert Wood Johnson, and it's the same Robert Wood Johnson of Johnson & Johnson. And this is a part of their philanthropic support to healthcare. And then, of course, Prudential is our other partner, but we have so many other partners. We've got real estate companies, we've got mortgage company, we've got all kinds of partners. And then we got speakers coming in. I'm getting ahead of myself, but we got speakers coming in from all over the country to help us understand the relationships and the critical issues we need to know. RWJ is going to do 23 different screenings, from blood pressure to cholesterol to diabetes, all of that for free.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I'm going to pause for a second and just give everybody a little taste of what FinFest looks like. Thanks to our teammate, Mr. Michael Penix. We have a wonderful video here, and we're grateful that he's on board. So get ready. It's just real quick. Someone's being admitted. All right, Deep Free FinFest family, we are happy to be back.
I'm loving it, loved it, however you want to put it. It's just being in community with like-minded individuals.
There isn't just one path to your prosperity.
I'm excited that FinFest is looking at comprehensive financial. Sometimes you don't know how to get a seat at the table, but when you walk into FinFest, here you go. This is the entire experience. I've gotten a lot of great financial advice. Just met with a financial advisor.
It's empowering to see those affirmations and to see those different things. I feel like I'm in the right place.
And so this whole brand of financial festival, FinFest, puts the focus on the positive and helps people overcome the negative.
So Reverend, just to show you how God works, Michael Penix produced that video, and without even knowing it, that young lady in the green t-shirt that talked about whatever she talked about, her name is Renee King. Renee King started a company called Funding for Black Founders. I was with her a couple of days ago in Florida. She's coming back to FinFest this year. She's given away millions of dollars through her platform to Black founders since she was with us some years ago, and she's coming back. Ash Cash is coming back. He was in the video. Mike Penix didn't know any of this. Ash Cash was in the video, and Ash Cash has this course to teach people how to write a book in like 2 weeks and then sell the book, you know, using artificial intelligence. And a lot of us would benefit if we knew more about artificial intelligence, and we've got some experts in artificial intelligence. Now let me explain the why, because this has never happened before.
Okay.
The reason we're having FinFest on November 8th and 9th is because of what's happening on November 5th. Right. It's very strategic. On November 5th, we will either have the first female and the first woman of color in the White House.
Right.
Or we will be packing our bags trying to get to Africa. One or the other. Some of us are going to be so traumatized. But believe me when I say this, I preached about this last Sunday in Pennsylvania. Whatever happens November 5th, our agenda in terms of how we help ourselves financially and how we help our community financially and how we create wealth and how we undermine this prediction that our collective net worth will be zero by year 2050, we will have to do the exact same thing no matter who wins the presidential election. So we will, my fear is that if Harris wins, we'll be so excited. Many of us will be just waiting for her to bring us our check, right? And that's not going to happen. And if Trump wins, we'll be so depressed, we'll be tempted to give up. And so we're having this meeting right after the presidential election to really be clear about the challenge for Black people in light of whatever happened that Tuesday. And so Martin Luther King wrote a book called Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. He wrote that in 1967, year before he died. On November 8th, that Friday night, I plan to give a speech. Where do we go from here? Poverty or prosperity? And I'm going to build on the principles that Dr. King put in his book, the things that are still true, and to talk about the path forward. No matter who is in the White House, there's some things we must do. I was in a restaurant with my wife having lunch last week, and our waitress had the most beautiful fingernails I'd ever seen in my life. They were multicolored. They had stripes, and they celebrated the seasons. And so I asked her, as I always do when I see something this profound, how much did these fingernails cost? And she said they cost $125. Now this is a waitress, by the way. This is a waitress who's living on tips, serving a millionaire whose fingernails aren't done at all. So I said to her, how often do you get these fingernails done? And she said 2 or 3 times a month. $125, a waitress. And I said to her, I said, listen, these are some beautiful fingernails. But I just want you to think about skipping just one per month. That's all. Just take 100, just one fewer set of fingernails a month, $125 a month for a young woman, 23, 24 years old, in the right investment can make her a millionaire by the time she's 65. Those fingernails will make her a nice corpse, but the investment will make her a wealthy woman. So, so these are things that we have to do no matter who the president is. And it's what we celebrate. And it's why I have so much respect for the D-Free leadership, because these are things that they're not fancy, they're not sexy, you know, they won't win your Nobel Peace Prize, but we are committed to closing this racial wealth gap one family at a time. And sometimes it's about car washes and fingernails.
Wow. I guess everybody's checking their wallets right now. Put your hands in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. Don't put your hands in the chat. We won't call anybody out. But Dr. Story,
she's so churchy, she's just so churchy. She's even in church when she's on Zoom, you know.
No, but seriously, I think that that's an important takeaway. I think also not only is the date relevant, but the location is relevant. We're going to be meeting this year at the Jersey Shore, and we want to thank Long Branch Middle School for hosting us. I think it's important to let everybody know that it's not just any ordinary middle school. Like, you know, I think we should kind of talk about just even how we ended up there.
Yeah, well, we started having these events at First Baptist when I was the pastor there. And then we ventured out and we've had events at universities. We've had events at hotels. And we ended up in Long Branch really because the Delta Sigma Theta chapter in Monmouth County and their sister chapters near Monmouth County said, we want to host FinFest, and it's bigger than one county. And so they're called the Jersey Shore. If you're from Jersey or Pennsylvania or New York, you understand that there's a whole section of New Jersey that goes from like Monmouth County all the way down to Cape May, and it's affectionately called the Jersey Shore. Now, rich white people, when I was a kid, rich white people who had houses, and they just said down the shore. You know, it was kind of a nickname for the Jersey Shore. But the reason we're focusing on the Jersey Shore is, one, because it's a gathering place for this entire region. It's not just for the people in Long Branch, but the leadership came from Long Branch. And as you'll hear, when you come to FinFest, we are preparing to work with communities that have visions larger than their churches or larger than their individual Delta chapters or larger than their family. In other words, we learned this year. You know, this year has been a real pivotal year for D-Free, because we had the mayor of Newark, which is the largest city in our state and probably the best mayor in our state. Mayor Barack and his wife called and said, listen, we want to bring D-Free to the entire city, starting with the women. And it's efficient and it's also impactful, because, you know, it's one thing for Pastor Jones to say, look, bring D-Free to my church, but it's really huge and consistent with who we are as a people. That's why I'm so excited about Pastor Whitaker. He's saying the same thing for Delaware. It's something else for a leader to say, I'm concerned about my family, I'm concerned about my church, but I don't want this just for me. And so we had a citywide campaign in Newark, 17 different locations launched D-Free at the same time, at the library, at the bank, at the Urban League, at the church, and 3 online. And so next year, that's Reverend Sutton's assignment. Reverend Sutton, and some of you know Reverend Trevor Hyde, they'll be working as a team leading our foundation. And their assignment is to get groups of people together to make a greater impact. And you'll discover in your areas, when people start giving testimonies across communities and people rise above their own denominations and their own sorority colors and start working together, that's when we make progress. That was the power of the Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement was not a Baptist movement. It wasn't a Methodist movement. It wasn't a Pentecostal movement. It was a movement. And so the timing is critical. The location is critical. See, if we went to Newark or if we went to Camden, my concern would be everybody who didn't live in those cities would assume it was just for those people. But by going to the Jersey Shore, which is typically a gathering place, you go to the beach at the Jersey Shore, you go to the casino at the Jersey Shore, you know, you go for, so by going to the Jersey Shore, it is an historic catalyst that's used to attracting people from the region and not just from that local city. So we're going to Long Branch, and I'll tell you this too. This is the first time a local school district has said, we want to be a part of this. So that we're not just using the schools. The school board voted to invite us in along with the Deltas and the Chamber of Commerce. So we've got a job fair where people can come and apply for a job. We only allow companies that have real jobs. We don't allow companies to come and smile and take pictures and act like they like Black people. We only invite companies that have real jobs. And we have a job fair, the health system's bringing jobs, construction companies bringing jobs, real estate developers bringing jobs, and the Chamber of Commerce is identifying companies in that region that have jobs. So it's really, it's a financial festival. It's very short. You know, we don't spend all day for the whole weekend. It's Friday night and Saturday morning, and we end with lunch. Now, let me say a word about Friday. Don't let me forget. I won't say it right this minute, but don't let me forget to talk about Friday.
Coming. Yep, it's coming. You tapped on a lot. I want to let assure everybody that the next month, one of our guests are going to be the members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated that particularly are spearheading this project in the Ocean and Monmouth counties. So, you know, if you're a Delta on, make sure you come back and send some of your sorors with you. And actually all D9, we're inviting all the Divine Nine. So the Zetas in that area, as well as the Sigmas and the Qs, everybody in that area is coming in, and we're inviting all across the state of New Jersey. We're super excited about it because if you are in the state of New Jersey, November 8th and 9th is the teachers convention. So a lot of the children will be out of school, and we have some really special events for our young people there. So we have a children's track. So if you're a parent and you are looking for something for your child to do where they can get a fun educational and firm foundation, we're talking about closing the wealth gap one family at a time. So this is a family event. So you as a parent can come and get information for yourself. Not only that, but there are quite a few sponsors, but we'll go into folks that are targeting young people. We'll go into that in a minute because I want to make sure we don't miss. We've talked about the sponsor, Robert Wood Johnson, WJ Barnabas, excuse me. But we didn't talk a lot about Prudential. This year, Prudential will be there as well as one of our sponsors. But what I love about Prudential is that they continue to create time with those FAs coming in and sharing those one-on-one consultations. What other things are they bringing this year that we might know about?
I don't know. They're meeting tomorrow.
They have the activation booth. We know that.
They have a booth and they have giveaways and all of that nice stuff. But the key thing is these financial advisors, and I'll tell you why. I have been approached by other companies to come to our events or to have us come to their events, but so many people just want to sell you stuff, you know.
Right.
They just want that they want to use you to make more money. Well, Prudential has $1 trillion in assets, 1 trillion, TRILLION. All right. And my deal with Prudential is you can come with me, but your people just can't sell. Now, if after a while I want to buy something from Prudential, that's on me. But we don't need salesmen running around our events, you know, trying to sign people up for stuff. The reason we partner with Prudential is one, because they made that commitment, but two, Black people are the least likely to talk to a professional about our money. We get our advice from the beauty shop, from the barber shop, from other broke people, you know, just, you know, now TikTok and Instagram. We get our information from people who are not qualified to give us financial advice, you know. So you got to be licensed to do hair.
Mhm.
You got to be licensed to fly planes. So you ought to want someone licensed
Right.
to give you financial advice. And Prudential people are licensed, and we've trained them. We have literally trained them in how to work with our people, our community, even Black folk. You know, you got to train some Black folks on how to talk to Black folks.
Mm.
Amen.
Amen.
So Prudential comes, and I have been partners with Prudential since 2011. They've helped us promote the movement. They actually introduced me last week in Florida to the Bill Gates Foundation, to the Ford Foundation, all the big foundations. And what they said basically was, if you want to know how we work with Black people, ask him. And then I just described how Prudential supports us, and they do so respectfully and effectively. So Prudential will be there, and they're helping to pay. They're coming to work for free, and they're helping to pay the bills that we have. So that's what a partnership looks like. On Friday during the day, because all of this youth stuff is on Saturday. All the speakers, we have a rally Saturday, Friday night. I'll be preaching. There's a choir singing, so it's kind of churchy, and we'll have some testimonies from people whose lives have benefited from D-Free. Just a little kind of community one night D-Free revival. And on Saturday we have the workshops. The youth piece is important because we didn't always do that. You know, we didn't start out inviting children. And what we learned was, first of all, on a Saturday, some people can't come because they have children. That's number one. And number two, people who do come want to know, well, what about my children? So we have a great children's track. We have a group coming that has built a whole curriculum around teaching children about business through a lemonade stand. In fact, that's the name of the organization, Lemonade Day. And every child understands lemonade, but they take the lemonade stand concept and turn it into a curriculum, and they do that for free. So that's on Saturday. Now on Friday, during the day, before the big meeting starts, we're doing three things on Friday. All three should be of interest to this group. Not everybody, but to this group. Thing number one is, of course, we'll be doing facilitated training. And the reason we keep doing facilitated training is because we keep adding new stuff. So we have new things now that we didn't have 5 years ago. And people who are facilitators keep coming back to see, well, what's new? We've got new books. We've got new online content. We've got a lot of new stuff. Thing number two is that we have an employment opportunity. We've trained almost 700 people who have been facilitators, D-Free leaders, as volunteers. And so we're inviting all of our volunteer leaders to come and to show you a way to participate in the next level of what D-Free has produced. It's taken us 2.5 years to do this, and to show you how you can earn income yourself. No need in teaching people about making more money and not offering opportunities. And this, I'm very excited about it. So we're going to have three people have worked with us this year in building out a strategy where D-Free associates can earn income by working with us. So that session is going to take place. And then the third session is going to be for pastors. You know, I retired from my church, one, because I was tired of being a pastor at that church, and two, because I could afford it. You know, you can't retire if you're broke. And what I've discovered is that not enough pastors know how to make extra money, and not enough pastors know how to invest money, and not enough pastors know where to go for that kind of help. And I want to tell you something. Why am I emphasizing pastors? Because the only person in the Black community who is expected to work full-time for Black people without full-time pay is the Black pastor. Now, I know y'all see TD Jakes and Creflo Dollar and those cats on TV. There's about 20 of them. The rest of the Black pastors in the country, their average income is $19 an hour. truck drivers make more than $19 an hour. Uber drivers make more than $19 an hour. Custodians make more than $19 an hour. The average Black pastor in America makes about $39,000 a year. And so I have a passion for Black pastors because I was one, especially in this post-COVID period. You have no idea the stress of a pastor going through COVID. So we're gonna have a special session for pastors and share with them some things that pastors need to know. So and then we're gonna have dinner with everybody who comes to those 3 sessions. And then the actual public event starts that Friday night. So the registration page is open, is it not, Reverend? Can people register like right now?
Yep, we are dropping a link in the chat where you can get more information. It's already in there if you want to register to be a part of our job fair. If you want to be a vendor there, if you're interested in being a sponsor, we invite you to come on. If you have giveaways, we invite you to share those as well. So please make sure you drop that. You check the chat. We have about 3 links, I believe, in the chat already to register or to participate. We want to make sure that you don't miss Dr. Soros' talk on Friday night. We want to make sure that you don't miss all of the things that are happening. Also, if you need immediate help, I believe Green Path will also be on site for those who have immediate, immediate help. You need immediate help in your finances. They will be available for you to jump in and have a conversation. They've been very effective in the past at our conferences, and so I know that they have a whole mobilization plan as part of that as well.
So let me say this about Green Path though, because I mean, think about this, y'all. If somebody registers tonight for FinFest, and in their registration, they say, you know what, I really need to talk to a debt counselor. I don't want them having to wait 2 months. I mean, there's something happening in their life now. They should have to wait for FinFest. They could be evicted by FinFest. So what's going to happen is we're going to monitor the registration. And if anybody registers to talk to a debt counselor at FinFest, we're going to connect them with the debt counselor the next day. Because Green Path has a whole model where they operate by phone. They do debt counseling over the phone. So by FinFest, hopefully some folks will register and get so much help that they can come to FinFest and give a testimony of how they registered for FinFest and got help even before FinFest started. The registration's free, but Pastor Whitaker is going to be bringing a group of people from Delaware.
Yes.
There's a group of people coming from Westchester, Pennsylvania. I know that. So if you're bringing a group, we need to know that, because I want to make sure you don't mess around, bring a whole group of people and you're at the end of the line, all the sandwiches are gone. We have to give preferential treatment to groups. The other thing is we do have some hotel rooms for those that want to come and stay overnight. And I think there's a special rate. Is that in the registration, Sutton? Is the hotel information?
That's not in there, but it's at the Sheraton in Eatontown. Yeah, we'll make sure that that's in there.
When?
Just because I know rooms right now. Open that up. Yep. So that's for you, Pastor Whitaker. Information.
Yeah, I don't want Reverend Whitaker having to drive back and forth all the way from Wilmington to the Jersey Shore.
Look, the way that he took care of us when we were in Wilmington, we will definitely take care. We'll make sure that you know the hotel. Absolutely. Dr. Soros, I didn't want to miss this very important point. When we were talking about the children's track, one of the things that's going to be offered through Robert Wood Johnson, I believe, is that mental health for young people piece. When we're talking about health and wealth, we're talking about there are young people that are actually going through stuff. I know back in the day when we had problems, our parents would say to us, what kind of stress you got? You don't have a mortgage, you don't have this, you don't have that. But our young people, as you can see, as evidenced by so many things going on in the world, they're experiencing stressors and they're experiencing mental health. And so there are some things that Robert Wood Johnson is going to share in the form of a talk to the actual children, to the young people that show up. But there's also a conversation for the parents to help you see some warning signs. So I think this is so powerful. Yeah,
it really is. It's kind of a cause and effect, this emotional stress and financial stress. It's circular, so we are stressed emotionally and it affects our finances. We're stressed financially and it affects our emotions. The D3 curriculum, I really kind of nipped at this when I talked about 3 types of spending: compensatory spending to gain significance. That's an emotional spending. and compulsive spending, which is for status. You know, when I was driving Cadillacs and Lincolns, knowing I could only afford Toyotas and Hondas, that was a form of mental illness. You know, I had a slight case of insanity. You know, you're willing to drive a car and the car note is 50% of your salary. I mean, that's, but it's driven by impulses that you need to understand. And if we don't understand it in today, because listen, this phone right here will kill you. It's not even a phone. We use these devices for things other than talking more than we do for talking. And you mess around on TikTok, you stay on TikTok long enough, it'll drive you crazy. You either need therapy or drugs or both. And you certainly need Jesus, because these things, our children are looking at styles and fashion and all kinds of nonsense on their phones and on their iPads. And if we're not careful, we'll all be crazy. So it's an important conversation, and you know, it's not going to come from the top down. I'm telling you, the reason we're gathering right after the election is to reinforce the fact that the government certainly has responsibilities, and we'll never let them slide away from their responsibilities. But there's some things the government cannot do, will not do, and should not do.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so glad we're talking about some of these important topics. I know that we're going to do a deeper dive at FinFest, and so I'm getting really anxious and real excited about the fact that we have so much available to us. The one last thing I wanted to mention about the young people is that there is also going to be a pitch contest. I don't know if you all were there last year where they were able to pitch their businesses. We have some budding entrepreneurs among us. There's an entrepreneurship panel as well. So there's so many things that we have chalked in these 2 days that we want to make sure that there's something for everybody so that we can all close the wealth gap one family at a time. So I guess the big question is, how can you get involved, right?
Oh, wait, no, that's not the big question. There's a big question before that question. Okay. We answered Pastor Whitaker's question, but here's the big question. Will it also be virtual? I say big question because we have had hybrid events where it's both live and virtual.
Right.
As of right now, this moment, it's only going to be in person, but we're going to film or record almost all of it like we did last time. And then what we'll do is we'll release the recordings section by section. If you haven't seen them, you can go to our YouTube page and you can see FinFest 2023 and the key presentations are there. That's the plan now. Now, if we are overwhelmed with registrations to the point where we know there's no way we could accommodate people if they all showed up, then we will be forced to figure out a way to do it virtually and make sure people have access, because I think this is an inflection point. I believe this first weekend after the presidential race and all the drama and all of the pain and all of the joy, all of those emotions are going to be unprecedented. And that's why this weekend, I think, is critical as a moment's ever been. So I want to make sure we reach and touch as many people as possible, because, you know, as a person of faith, I believe that joy comes in the morning, no matter what happened last night. I just believe that. And we can't allow the media to dictate to us how we feel. And many of us have feelings that are completely controlled and triggered by the media instead of by the truth, you see. So what will happen on Tuesday, we'll see the facts. The fact will be the outcome of the election. But the truth is always bigger than the facts. Jesus didn't say, ye shall know the facts. Jesus said, ye shall know the truth. And the truth will set you free. And the truth is, light is stronger than darkness. That's the truth. All the time. The truth is that no weapon formed against God's people can prosper. That's the truth.
Truth.
The truth is, if a tree dies, it'll live again. So we want to make sure we come right behind the whatever the facts are from November 5th with the truth on November 8th and 9th.
Y'all getting inspired for Friday night? I know that's just a taste of what we're gonna get. So I'm getting excited for Friday, November 8th, and then come along on November 9th. But thank you so much, Dr. Soares, just for level setting us, even with that. Just real quick, I
make sure somebody sends the hotel information to Pastor Whitaker right away.
Yeah, we'll take care.
We didn't reserve that many rooms, and I just want to make sure he gets the information quickly. All right.
Yes, sir. We will take care of that. And thank you.
All right, now you can have your big question. I preempted your big question.
You did. You did. But we want to thank Cynthia Zeller said she enjoyed the recordings and they were great. And that she still looks at them. And then Sandra Bates was with us. Oh yeah, Sandra Bates was with us in Atlanta. And she said the sessions were amazing and inspiring. So just giving you a little taste of what's to come, everybody. But I wanted to make sure you all knew how you could get involved. We've been dropping links all night in the chat, but wanted to make sure that the first way you can get involved is by attending. Show up. Come, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your sorority, bring your fraternity, bring your Link sisters, bring your Mason brothers, whoever it is, Jack and Jill, bring everybody, bring your organizations. If you have a book club, a group at work, bring everybody. It is a free event and there's something for everybody. So the first way you can come is by attending. Then on Saturday, September 21st, we're having a mobilization meeting. That mobilization meeting is to go ahead and spread the information to those that you may know that want to get involved in FinFest. And so as a group, and so we'll go ahead and drop that information in a moment. The next thing you want to do is invite your children. We want to make sure all of young people, if you have a youth group, everyone's always asking us about content for young people. What can we do to start a firm foundation with our kids? Why kids waste money? And you say all these things and they DoorDash their money, they do all this stuff. Well, in order to change their mindset, we need them here. We need them to be at FinFest. We're going to talk about mental health as well, like I mentioned, and mindful spending and all of that, mindful. We want to make sure that you're there. Mind over money and money over mind. I mean, money over matters. Let's see what else. We also want to make sure that we do still have sponsorships available. So if you are looking to sow a seed into a good opportunity to be able to share with others, then we're your place. So we want to make sure you do that. You can do that in the form of a financial contribution. You can do it in the form of a giveaway. You can do it in the form of a resource table, maybe a service that you might provide. So please, you want to connect with us on that? That link is also in the chat. I want to make sure we covered everything because I see our time is drawing to an end. So let me go ahead and put up this last.
Before you do, let me break into your joy. Just one moment. Let me tell you what we don't do. We don't have a bazaar where people come and sell all the little trinkets and stuff. We just don't do that. You go to National Baptist Convention and most of the exhibits are shoes and hats and we don't do that. So there's nothing wrong with that. This is not that kind of event. All of our exhibitors are people who have jobs, people who have resources. We don't, we're not open to vendors who just want to sell balloons and multicolored socks and all that. We don't do that.
No, we want to keep you from spending your money on those things. So thank you, Dr. Soares, again with the level set. I hope you all are getting as much a kick out of this as I am. But yeah, here's the information for the mobilization meeting. That's coming up on September 21st. It's going to be in Long Branch, New Jersey from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon. We have a lot of local folks that we have reached out to, but if you are interested in being a part of this movement and just being able to share in that way, then we want to invite you to become a community partner. You can do that by showing up at the meeting on the 21st. It's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon. That's at the Second Baptist Church of Long Branch, and continental breakfast will be served, but we need to know you're coming. So make sure you let us know that you will be there. Outside of that, we're also going to be talking about FinFest on the Ask the Expert webinar series. That happens every Wednesday. The host is Nicole Pride, and she just enjoys interviewing and having conversations with folks. And so we want to make sure that you check out some more FinFest information on the Ask the Expert sessions. It comes at 12 noon every Wednesday. So if you want to lunch and learn, that is a good place to do so. You can register right there on dfree.com. Just as a reminder, our website is dfreefoundation.org. There's way more information on there. There's a way for you to register on there, so feel free to do that. If you haven't already signed up for the DFree Online Academy, we invite you to do so you can be a part of what we're talking about, and so that you can study those 12 steps to financial, saying yes to no debt, and the 12 steps that we do to financial freedom. Last but not least, if you haven't already signed up for the $1 Billion Challenge, we suggest that you do so. It is a wonderful way to track your finances, That's not just paying down debt, but also accumulating savings. That is our communal effort to pay down $1 billion worth of debt in the Black and Brown community, and to accumulate $1 billion worth of saving. And now is a wonderful time to get started, especially with everything that is going on in our future. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact us at 844-693-3733 or email info@mydfree or soon to be dfreefoundation.org. So give us a second, we'll go ahead and update that. But just want to remind everyone that FinFest is here, it's coming, and we want to make sure that you are a part of it. Please join me in thanking our special guest, Dr. DeForest B. Soaries Jr. We're super excited that you were able to spend time with us this evening. Thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing week. Thank you, Dr. Soaries.
Everybody.
Bye-bye, everyone.